Okay, there shouldn't be any talking. All right, we've got, this one's number 7. 6, 1. Yep. This is 3. Shh, I will go over whichever ones you have questions on, why they are there. Let me go over the answers first. I do have a method to this. This one's number 5. This is 2. This is 11. 4. Stop talking, please, gentlemen. This is 12. Let's not say that in class, but especially while I'm recording. This is 9. This is 10. And this is 8. Okay. So, I know you guys didn't have a lot of time to go through all of these. Is there one specifically that I marked down that you got totally differently that you have a question about? Okay. Let's real quick, I want to talk about some things that should be obvious. You see all these ones that are upside down? That are like an N instead of a U? Okay? They should, shh. Christian, quiet please. They should have a negative in front of them. So like 1 has a negative in front of it, 6 has a negative in front of it, 8 has a negative in front of it, 11 has a negative in front of it. We know all of those are upside down. Okay, they're not a U shape, they're like an N. Okay, next, you could figure out where all of them went because it's the opposite of these. It should cross at -2 and +3. It should cross at +2 and -3. Okay, that's what those factors mean. Okay, let's turn it over to the next side. Remember, if you need to keep talking because you cannot concentrate, please let me know. You can go visit Miss Maggie in ISS. I need to get through this for the people who care and want less homework. Yeah. Okay? Shh. All right, number 1, excuse me. Let's try to make a high quality graph of y equals -2x and x plus 5 by hand. So what are the 2 horizontal intercepts? Or where it crosses the x-axis, we call them x-intercepts, or we call them zeros. Those are all those things. What are they? So what's the opposite of -2? So it's going to be 2, 0, right? Because if it's crossing the x-axis, the y should be 0. So what would the next one be? If this one, if -2 goes to 2, 0, instead of 4, I'm going to have -4, 0, correct? Everybody okay so far? You can also do it like this. 0 equals x minus 2 and 0 equals x plus 4 and solve. But my shortcut is just to think of it as the opposite. Okay, since the quadratic graphs are symmetric, find the line of symmetry by using the horizontal intercepts drawn on the graph. So we're literally going to do this. We're going to put a dot at 2, and we're going to put a dot at -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what's right in between those? -1. So -1, and I'm going to use my highlighter to show it. That is my axis of symmetry. Do you guys remember that? We talked about axis of symmetry a lot when we were doing standard form. Okay, so my axis of symmetry is -1. So for C, it's -1. How am I going to figure out what y is? I'm going to plug -1 in for x. So I'm going to say -1 minus 2 times, get out or be quiet. Those are your 2 choices. There shouldn't be any talking right now. Don't ask me any other questions unless you're quiet. -1 plus 4. What's -1 minus 2? -3, right? Yep. -1 plus 4 is 3. And -3 times 3 is? What's 3 times 3? -9. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I'm on -1. That then is my graph. Okay? The vertical intercept occurs when x equals 0. So if we want to make sure we're crossing, because I'm not crossing the y-axis in the right space. I just made that up. And it doesn't look like a U, right? It looks all crooked and funky. So to make it look better, we're going to plug in 0 for x and figure out where it crosses the y-axis. So we go y equals 0 minus 2 times 0 plus 4. What's 0 minus 2? Negative 2. What's 0 plus 4?
4.
What's 4 times negative 2?
Negative 8.
So it should cross right here at negative 8. So I should cross right here. So that would look a lot better. Okay, so I corrected it. And I'm going to draw over in orange the correct part. Okay, so see how my graph in pen was off? And I fixed it in orange? It's because I plugged in 0 for x, because this is the x, this is the y-axis, so x is always 0. So I'm figuring out where it crosses there, and it crosses at negative 8. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. 0 plus 4 is 4. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Yeah, so now you're just going to plot 0, negative 8. That's that point, and then I connected them. Okay? Using the line of symmetry, find another point on the graph, pick another value. We can do all those other things, but I think having those points, you're in pretty good shape. I'm not really big on you have to have all of these, especially because you can graph this on your calculator to double check. Okay? We're going to look at number 2, and I'm going to do that one with you. And then I think you're ready to do some on your own. Okay, first steps, I've got f of x or y. Remember, f of x and y are the same thing. X minus 5, x plus 1. What are my x-intercepts or my zeros or my roots? It's 5, so I've got 5 comma 0 is 1 point, and negative 1 comma 0, correct? Because it's the opposite of these, right? Everybody with me? Okay, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5, and negative 1. What's right? Oops, it's 5, negative 1, not, that's wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go, that's better. Okay, what's right in the middle of those? Which is what number? 2. So the axis of symmetry, x equals 2, axis of symmetry. I like to write myself a little note so I remember what I'm doing later. Okay, so I'm going to put a line at x equals 2. Okay, how do I find my vertex, where the bottom of my U is or the top of my N? I've got the axis of symmetry. Now, how do I find the y value? So I've got y equals, not 0, but what's this number right here that I just found? 2. We go 2 minus 5 times 2 plus 1. Okay, so step 1, we found our roots. Step 2, found the axis of symmetry. Step 3, plug the axis of symmetry into the equation. Okay, 2 minus 5 is? Good. 2 plus 1 is? Negative 3 times 3 is? Negative 9. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. On that yellow line. You guys see? Trying to make it big enough so everybody can see. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to find where it crosses the y-axis. How do we do that? Yes. So I'm going to go y equals 0 minus 5 times 0 plus 1. 0 minus 5 is just negative 5, right? 0 plus 1 is? So what is negative 5 times 1? Negative 5. So that's where it crosses the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then we're in pretty good shape. Yes, you have to have 1, 2, 3, 4 points. This instructions in here is asking you to do a whole bunch more. I'm just asking for those 4 points.
And then that's all we do.
Yes. Okay. The back of the next page is explaining your thoughts of how to do this. I do want you to do that too. I don't need you to do it in great detail, but I want to see something written for 1 through 5 on the back as well. So you're going to graph 4 of these. Then you're going to answer the 5 questions on the back. So you're going to do, one more time, you're going to graph these 4 graphs, right? And then on the back of that is 5 questions. I want you to answer those 5 questions. It doesn't have to be in complete sentences. It doesn't have to be in great detail. I want you to answer it, though, to see that you've thought about it. Because tomorrow I'm going to give you more practice with this. And the more you've, actually thought, how do you do this, the better you're going to do. Okay? So explain how you see the x-intercepts, also called roots, in the function. Where does it cross, Abby, the y-axis? And how did you find that? You either set y equal to 0, or you did the opposite of what it said, right? So I've given you all the answers to these. This is just you writing them in your own words. I've actually found, and I'm a little concerned about the graphing part of this, because you guys have trouble with the graphing part as a class. So if you write down how to do it, you're more likely to remember it. In most cases, it makes more sense. Okay? So your homework for tonight is this page front and back. And we will go over the answers tomorrow. And then we're just going to do more of this tomorrow. Okay? Questions, comments, concerns? Okay. Let's hit the lights. We're going to get working on this. I'm eventually going to stop recording.